boo-bos. It's Armani Stay Stamped and Stay Stamped Custom Units on IG. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, you're going to see me do a full lace frontal install. The model on today's video is my sister Drea. Off camera, I already braided her to the back, melted her cap, applied the makeup on the cap, and then the same makeup on the lace front. For today's install, I'm going to be using Bold Hold Active Glue. I love this glue. You get a very firm, secure hold with this glue. You're going to see me applying 4 coats today. After each coat, I'm going to be smoothing it out with the end of my eyebrow archer. You want to make sure that each coat is smooth and thin as possible, no lumps, no bumps, and it dries completely before you put the next coat on. On my TV, you might see a familiar face. That's Slayed by Jordan, one of my favorite boos to watch on YouTube. Shouts out to Slayed by Jordan. I learned so many techniques from him. So now, you're just gonna watch me continue to go in with my layers, smoothing each one out with the end of that eyebrow archer and making sure it turns clear before I add the next coat. Once again, we're doing 4 layers using the Bold Hold Active Glue. As I let this last layer dry, I'm going to turn on some music so we can catch a vibe and jam out while we lay this lace. And now you're going to see me begin to lay that lace. I like to start from the middle, bring that lace down, and get it melted right in the middle first. You want to pull your lace a little over the where you put the glue. You don't want to try to directly put it on the glue unless you're very, very, very good at this, because laces have a tendency to slide back and it's going to be much more of a mess for you to clean up the glue than to cut a little extra lace off. Here you see me having her hold the side so that when I pull the other side, that side stays flat and secure and in front of the glue as I like it to be. Here, you're going to see me adjusting and pulling the lace more forward. Like I explained, you always want to get the lace in front of the glue. You don't want to try to put it directly or behind the glue because it's going to be much more of a bigger mess for you to try to clean that glue up and get everything off, and it's just going to be a mess. So I'm adjusting and then getting it in a proper place, and I'm going to take my rat tail comb and I'm just going to go through combing and melting that lace in while she holds it into place. Now you see me here doing the same thing when I come around to this side. Picking up the lace out of her hand and adjusting it so that it's more forward and not behind the glue. And then I'm going to continue to press it in while I'm holding it. You want to also make sure that the ear tab is always out. It helps for a better lay of the lace and it keeps it from pulling back. If you have the ear tab already cut out, the lace will lay much more smoother and flat. Here you just see me continuing to do a little press down with the rat tail comb, further melting the glue in place. You want to really make sure that the glue is melted in place. And now I'm going to take my elastic band and tie it around just to give it a little firmer hold. I'm going to hold it on there for about 10 to 15 minutes, just apply a little pressure while that lace continues to melt. I like to go in with a little spritz or holding spray before I tie the lace down, just to make sure that all the hairs are pulled back, and it also helps to better melt the lace. I will do this again with Got To Be, but just for the beginning I just wanted to use a light spritz to push the fine hairs back so there'll be no hairs that will ever end up on the glue. Now, after letting that elastic band stay on and letting that lace get melted for about 10 to 15 minutes, we're back and we're going to remove the elastic band and catch this melt. Now that we have the lace secure in place, we're going to go in and we're going to tack down any necessary flaps that we need, and we're going to cut the excess off. And the minor light that you see in front of the hairline, we're going to go in with more makeup when we pull down the baby hair, and we're going to apply more makeup to help that blend much, much better. When you use darker skin tones with transparent lace, you kind of have to go in with the makeup a second round. Here you're going to see me take my shears and my eyebrow archer, and I'm going to start the cutting process. Like I said, any part that's not tacked down and you don't want to keep it, you want to cut that excess off up until where everything is down with the glue. If it's a piece that you want to keep and it helps build the hairline and make it look neater, you want to get some extra glue and you want to put some glue under there and make sure that you get that down. So here I'm just taking my eyebrow archer and I'm cutting off all the excess lace that did not stick. So, beginning with the other side, you're going to see me do the same thing. I'm going to make a slit with my shears, and then I'm going to take my eyebrow archer and begin to cut all that excess lace off. And FYI, this is the second or third install with this wig. So when you install or reinstall a wig, you have to know that sometimes the edges are going to come off and it's going to get thin, and you might have extra lace that's balding in the front. So when reapplying the lace, you want to make sure that you go in again and just give it a little customization and cut off any flaps or any pieces that you see unneeded or unwanted. Now that we have everything cut and everything is down and melted into the glue, you're going to see me section out the parts for my baby hair. My sister is very new with baby hair and she only likes minimum to none really. So we're just going to give her a side temple on each side and then the sideburn. And these are actually like my favorite baby hairs to do, just like a little temple, little swoop, and a sideburn is kind of all I live for. But I'll do it to the client's preference, whichever the client prefers. So on my sister, like I said, we're just going to give her 2 little temple swoops and 2 sideburns. So you'll see me here gathering the pieces that I need for the lace and pulling them out. Hot combing them to the front so that they can lay pretty flat and they will be out of the way before I put the melt belt back on and put the makeup on to further help the lace blend and get that little light shade that you see out of there. There's no really right or wrong way to do your baby hair. It's up to you, the stylist, and your client's preference. So you can, use a heavy amount, take out a large amount for baby hair, or you can take out a real thin strip for baby hair. It just depends on the look you're trying to achieve and what your client would like to go for. So, same steps for the other side. You're just going to see me section out that part for the temple swoop and the sideburn. And then you're going to see me take that hot comb and hot comb those baby hairs forward so that they're in the motion and they already are trained to lay the way that I want them to lay before I put the elastic band back on and further melt the lace with a little got-to-be spray around the lace. Now, as she holds her head down, you can see that that lace is pretty quite melted. But like I said, we're going to go in with that hot comb those baby hairs on the other side so that they lay in the form that I want them to lay. I'm going to spray a little got-to-be around the lace to help it melt more. And I'm going to put that elastic band back on so that that lace can really, really melt more than it already is. Here I'm hot combing the hair towards the back because kind of like I did at the beginning with the holding spray, you want to make sure that all the hairs are going to the back for a smooth, sleek finish once you take the band off. Now I'm putting the got-to-be that I explained that I would put around the edge of the lace. When you do this, it helps to further melt the lace in place, and the wetness of the got-to-be makes the lace go to a clear form, and it kind of helps it just blend better to the skin, if that makes sense. You see, after spraying the got-to-be, that the lighter portion of the front of the hairline that you saw, it kind of dimmed it and it made it more transparent or closer to her skin tone because now the lace is wet with the got-to-be. Now, after securing that elastic band a second time, we're going to go in with a little water and conditioner and we're going to wet down that lace to get the curl pattern back into its form. curly or wavy hair, after getting the hair nice and wet, I like to use a curl activator or a silicone mix, or a little bit of both, depending on how dry the hair is giving me. But most times when you get curly or wavy hair, it's gonna be kind of more dry than it would if it was straight or body wave. So I like to add moisture to the hair by using the silicone mix or some type of activator conditioner in that form for curly hair. So, like I just mentioned, here you'll see me taking a little curl activator, rubbing it in my hands, and then rubbing it over the hair. I like to put the moisture in the hair because it makes it pop more, it keeps the curls locked in place, and it just adds the moisture that the hair needs so it doesn't look dry and brittle. I'm gonna go back in with my hot comb because if you've been watching my tutorials, you know that I love hot combing. And I do this with my curly or wavy hair when it's wet because it just helps it smooth it out more and just get it as flat and sleek as possible. This won't be the last time I'll be hot combing, but I just like to keep going over because the more you hot comb, the flatter, smoother, and sleek you can get the wig. Shouts out to my niece in the background on her phone. I don't know her YouTube right at this second, but I will tag it in at the end of the video and you can follow her on YouTube. She sells boutique clothes, little two-piece open the door sets that I'm sure you guys will love. I also did her hair on this day and I'll be doing a video on how I did her install, and she has dramatic exotic baby hair with a side part. So I'll definitely be doing the upload on how I did her hair. Stay tuned. Now you're going to see me give her the dryer, and she's going to hold that hair dryer and just make sure that that lace is melted with that heat. For my clients who don't like to sit under the dryer, I give them the hand dryer option to just keep it going in the front motion over their hair to apply that heat. The heat helps the lace melt more. Not too much heat, but just a little heat to, get the lace more melted. So, after she dries that for about 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to remove that elastic band, and now you can get into this melt. After the got to be and all the extra is cut off, you see how much more melted this lace is, and it matches her skin tone much better. Now you're going to see me take my wax stick and back in with my hot comb, and I'm going to hot comb a little more just to get that lace more sleek and smooth as I can. I don't remember exactly what we were tuning into on my sister's phone, but you can tell from my stale face and my dry lips that I was really trying to get into whatever she was showing me. Here you're going to see me just combing through the baby hair, and I'm going to take my shears and I'm going to cut them on a slant and just get them prepared for me to curl them and swoop them up, and we're going to use the foam method. Here's a little side view of the melt before we go on to the next side. Melted. Same thing for the other side. I'm going to take the baby hair, comb through them, and cut them on a slant, and just prepare to curl them and swoop them over. Now I'm going to take my thin flat irons and I'm going to pick up that baby hair and I'm going to give it a tight bump. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the sideburn, and I'm gonna go to the other side and repeat the same steps. You wanna pick that baby hair up and give it a nice curl. This way, when you begin to form the swoop for the baby hair, the hair is already gonna like be trained to go in that pattern because you just curled it. It's gonna be much, much easier than trying to do it with straight hair. Let's take a second and get into this side view and catch that melt and just how everything blended and how the makeup matched before I get ready to use this foam method and swoop it over. That lace is really melted. So now I'm going to take the foam, and like I said, it's going to be much easier to form that C form, or get the baby hair just in the position because it's curled. It's going to be much easier to put that foam on there and just give it that swoop. So you're going to see me doing that with the temple and the sideburn. I'm going to do that on each side. Now you're going to see me take the wrap strip, and I'm going to spray a little Got To Be on my finger and just tap it on the edge of the lace. I learned that Got To Be kind of helps the lace come more transparent when it gets wet. And of course, we all know that Got To Be has an extra hole. So I like to do this when I put the foam on, because sometimes the foam, whether it has alcohol in it or not, it can lift your lace if the lace gets too wet. So I like to do this, and when I tie down the baby hair, I also just do the Got To Be just to give it an extra firm hole. So you're going to see me here take the wrap strips and tie it down, and I'm also going to put the elastic band around as well, because you just want extra security while the lace is intact and it's still drying. Now, once we get everything tied down, I'm going to sit her under the dryer for about 10 to 15 minutes and let that lace get further melted in, and of course dry the baby hair. Now, after everything is dried, you're going to see me take her from under the dryer, remove the elastic band, and remove the wrap strips, and we're going to get into this melt. I like to comb my baby hair out, even though they're going to be in a nice position and they're going to look nice. Because I use the foam method, I want the baby hair to be more soft and fluffy. So once I remove the paper, I'm going to take that same edge brush that I did the baby hair with, and I'm going to comb through them just to get them like soft and fluffy. Because I use the foam, they're going to stay in the position that I laid them in, but they're just going to be more soft versus being more stuck down and giving more like a hard look. And y'all, people always ask me like, how do you manage with these long nails? I don't know. I feel naked without my nails. So I'm very used to working with my nails. I do everything with my nails. And the craziest thing I've learned from watching myself doing tutorials, I always hold my mouth open when I'm concentrating. It's the weirdest thing. And I like bite down on my tongue or my jaw. It's so ugly and so weird. But yeah, so here I'm just going to comb through the baby hair. And I like to either take my shears and cut them down a little more, or I sometimes tweeze them if I feel like they're too thick. But I just take that edge control brush and I use the comb part and I comb through them and I position them right back in the way that I swooped them, but they're going to be more soft and fluffier, like I said, versus them hard and stuck down. The girls be trying to act like they don't want to look. Girl, you can look. Catch my sister getting into her lace. Yes. So I'm going to take the tweezers and I'm going to tweeze out a little bit of the hairs because you kind of want both sides of the baby hair to be evenly, you know, and you don't want one side too thick, one side too thin. So I just tweeze a little bit and just position it a little more and just go through the edges and the sideburn and just get everything intact. You want to have as much of a clean, smooth, sleek look as possible. So you want to make sure that everything is cut, all the little extra hairs are out of the way and everything's pushed back and just in the proper position how you want things to be. You see me here taking my shears and kind of cutting around her ear tab again, just to have it a little more relaxed and make sure that ear is coming out fully and is comfortable so that it won't irritate her ear over time while she's wearing the lace. Going over to the other side, repeating the same steps, just making sure that everything is cleaned up, plucking out the baby hair a little bit, taking my shears and cutting them if they need cutting, and just making sure that all the extra hairs are out of place and removed and pushed back and everything is crispy. Going around the ear tab and making sure that the ear is laying comfortable and there's no extra lace over the ear that's going to irritate her ear over the duration while she's wearing the lace. Here you see me taking my Curacare wax stick and just going over the hair, and now I'm going to bring the hot comb out and I'm going to go over the hair one more time. Like I said, hot combing is one of my favorite things to do. The clients really don't like it because they be getting burned, but I love to have a flat, smooth, sleek, finished, polished look. So just going over the edges a little more, just get everything kind of like in the pushback form that we got the hair going. Gonna put a little mousse and get the hair intact, and yeah. This is pretty much the finished product. This is a reinstall once again. Catch her getting into it. She's living. This is a reinstall. This is probably the third install with this lace. And this lace is from my collection. You can check me out on IG at Stay Stamp Custom Units or my personal page, Armani Stay Stamp. This is me doing my first install tutorial for you guys. So I hope it helps somebody. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you love the finished product. Thanks for following. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media platforms. And turn on the notifications so you can stay tuned when I put up my next tutorial. Bye, boos. I know I said bye already, but you're gonna see me here just giving the hair a little finishing gloss. I got this Fantasia gloss from the beauty supply and I really like it. It gives the hair a nice shine, you know, without being too heavy. And you're gonna see us here just chit-chatting as we're watching a tutorial by one of the GOATs in the game, Arrogant Tay. So we were just taking notes and getting into his techniques and, you know, what he does different that we don't do and just paying attention. So you're going to see us here just jamming a little bit to the video and catch the finished product. Bye, boos.